High quality, a phrase often attributed to a Kyoto animation production. With its second season finished airing, Sound Euphonium is clearly no exception, and perhaps their current high point of visual craftsmanship. The digital effects work, character modeling, and real-to-life animation are breathtaking. The sound design is also top-notch, with great voice acting performances across the board. This is nothing new. Praising KyoAni on their quality is pretty redundant. If there wasn't anything more to their shows than that, they all would go down in history the same way Phantom World or Ufotable's Tales of adaptations do. Most KyoAni shows are highly personal experiences, cementing the importance and validity of the slice-of-life genre. Relatability is Sound Euphonium's main triumph, but unfortunately, because it hinges on an appeal so personal, it simultaneously is its greatest downfall. When you have a slice-of-life show, the goal is to be a reflection of reality, consisting of experiences true to ordinary humanity. Humanity is such a vast tapestry that the niche types of lifestyles that an anime tackles is what separates their appeals, as well as their tone. In the more recent Fune wo Amu, a slice-of-life drama about making dictionaries, its niche is incredibly small, and so the chance someone can fully relate and appreciate it is also quite minuscule. For Sound Euphonium, if you've never participated in a concert band during your school years, it would be harder for you to appreciate. The same could be said for all their shows, KyoAni and its focus on stage bands and the Light Music Club, Lucky Star and the Being an Otaku, Tomoko Market and its focus on small towns and close-knit communities, Free and the love of shirtless men. Any of these niches could suit your personal taste better than another. I was in band for a brief period of time during my school years. I had a better understanding of the dynamics characters could have and the challenges that would occur in a show like this, and so I could relate to them on a much deeper level. However, the literal premise and plot of a show is only one aspect that someone can find relatable and relevant to their own life. The themes a show conveys are paramount and can be highly applicable. What a particular viewer places value on in their own life can make or break a show entering your favorites list, or just another 7 out of 10. Sound Euphonium is all about ambition and what fuels it. Why excel? Why care? Why music? What is important to you, etc. Ambition is something acutely relevant, having me reflect on why I make these videos and the level of passion I put into them now. In a literal sense, being in a band and blowing air in some tube of brass is not vital to survival, and there are characters in the show that stop caring and decide to focus on their future education. The fact that they comment on this type of mindset is just so incredible to me, because why am I spending all this time writing, recording, and editing, or making a podcast with my brother when focusing on something like school or a job is much more pertinent to daily survival? It's because it means something outside of physical needs, and so the next piece begins. In KyoAni, the major theme is the importance of friendship, and possibly at a later point in my life this theme may speak to me more, but right now it sounds like a quiet whisper while Euphonium's is a roaring megaphone. My previous KyoAni favorite was Hyoka, a show that was all about how effort is necessary for true happiness. It had a main character that theorized that if he did not give any effort, the annoying things in life would not affect him, thus creating a vacuum where he could finally be happy. Soon realizing that when he starts putting an effort toward his life and starts caring about people around him, does he find his life become more interesting, his relationships are healthier, and he's overall a happier person. If that theme doesn't speak to some of you, I don't know what will, but it did to me, and I personally connected to its message. The main character of Hyoka is like my spirit animal. I love him, almost as much as I love Sound Euphonium's MC Kumiko. A show filled with thoughtful and purposeful characters that you can relate to yourself and real people in your own life is Sound Euphonium's strength. I mentioned Kumiko first, but I'll get to her at the end because this show has so many great characters I'm just gonna gush. Like any anime, Sound Euphonium has several background characters that don't get much attention, but have just enough personality to remind you of that person you remember in band. The responsible couple, the strict supervisor, the casual acquaintance at the other school you'd see at competitions. All of these work together in tandem to create a realistic environment. Not every person in our lives are main characters, so the addition of these really helped create a believable social group. In the second season, we are introduced to the adult friends of the band director, Noboru Taki, which consequently makes him all the more interesting. The fact that he had a life outside this show is great, and the fact that he had a friend like Hashimoto is even better. Someone as reserved and serious as Taki-sensei has a best friend he relies on that's so goofy and carefree is super interesting. Hashimoto in particular is a fascinating character because all of his dialogue is fun and witty. He is a joy, and when he's on screen everything is more fun. Though he isn't just one note, his personality is realistic and his motives are nuanced, which is something about the show's writing that is consistent with every character. He sees music as an expression of one's true emotions. Why do it if you make it robotic and devoid of humanity? I really relate to this guy's attitude in social situations as well, as he lives for the joke and is visibly enjoying the students responding with laughter. Of course he is a percussionist, because if you're ever in band, the percussion section's always the more aloof group of members, which unsurprisingly, due to how much I relate to the show, I was in the percussion section. This character is a fantastic breath of life into a show that normally has a lot of drama, and it's heartwarming to notice how much he truly cares for his friend. By the way, I love this man. His past becomes clearer as the show continues, especially in season 2, but really it's his actual direction that is so admirable. Whenever the students start becoming too anime, like way too overdramatic or unrealistic, he acts as the goal line defense for realism due to his mature handling of every conflict. He stays calm and reserved in most situations, and takes his job very seriously, often seen still at school hours after practice is over. The adults in the show are the best, and that is so rare in anime. They act to balance out the high schoolers in their lives. Kumiko's older sister is another exceptionally relatable character. I would like to say how much I appreciate the dialogue between these two. They really feel like siblings with overly harsh banter that only sisters would have. I always really relate hard to shows with great brother or sister dynamics because I have a brother and sister I'm very close with. The brother-sister dynamic in Snafu is the only reason I got through that entire show. She is the result of someone who gave up on their ambition for more mature goals. She too played in band, but gave up on it to focus on college. In season 1 we rarely saw her, but when we did, she spent her time ragging on Kumiko. She always came off as upset or even depressed, but masking it with attitude, and then all of a sudden in season 2, she's dropping out of college at the dismay of her parents. It all started with this great exchange at the end of the first season.
あんたちゃんと勉強してんの？お姉ちゃんに関係ない。部活ばっかして。今から真面目に勉強しておかないと大学入れないよ。お姉ちゃんなんて受験で水部やめたくせに希望の学校行けなかったじゃん。意味ないよ。うるさいな。音大行くつもりないのに水部続けて何か意味あるの？ある。意味あるよ。どんな意味よ？だって、私、UFO 好きだもん。は？私、UFO が好きだもん。偉いね。
In the same way her parents did to her, she passed the same expectations on to Kumiko, but instead it's turned back onto her. Like giving up a passion didn't do anything but leave her passionless. You can hear she completely gives up on the argument when Kumiko says, I like the euphonium. Playing the euphonium doesn't help her future in any way, but she does it simply because she enjoys it. The sister doesn't say, you'd better start studying now or you won't be the architect you always dreamed of being. No, she says, you won't make it into university. Like that's what matters, that you made it into it. Like that's what people dream about and makes them fulfilled. I believe this is the scene where the sister starts to seriously consider what is making her happy, and we won't see the fruit of this until much later. This personal awakening initially made her resent Kumiko, and it was a major conflict in the second season. College was not an ambition, but an expectation. And she realized after watching her sister finally give in to her passion that she discovered what she really wanted to do. She wanted to like doing something, in the same way Kumiko liked and eventually loves the euphonium. I'm not sure she knew exactly what she wanted to do. I think the show mentioned beauty school, but really it was just something else. All her life she had been told that this was the thing to do, going to college to get a good job so you can support your being. She let expectations thrusted upon her drive her personal ambition, which is a setup for failure and unhappiness. What am I saying by describing all of this about her? I'll give you one guess what I'm neglecting by working on this video. No wonder I relate to this character so much, and she's barely even in the show. Now take a look at the type of advice she gives Kumiko by the end of the series.
まあ、あんたもさ、後悔のないようにしなさいよ。
Now, I will transition to the main central character, RMC Kumiko, and why I think she is the best. Kumiko is my favorite character of the show, which isn't always the case with main leads. I would say Kosaka Reina is the best character design, but her problems and emotions are just so alien. Scenes that focus on her actively disconnect me from the story. She's in love with a teacher and is pragmatically driven to be the greatest trumpet player ever. She looks at situations with this outsider lens and never is emotionally invested unless it has to do with either of these two things. She's not very good in social situations because of it. Kumiko, on the other hand, is just so human. Not only was the scene before with her sister great for the sister's point of view, but also it was a moment of monumental character development for Kumiko. Why we see her laying on a bed, face red from crying, is because of this realization that she has become invested into something. During practice that day, she had been told to sit out for a particularly difficult section because she was not performing it correctly. She failed, and this deeply affected her. Later that day, she starts to cry and commit herself to the goal of becoming better, or to quote the show, become better than everyone. This is huge character development and a conscious turn from what we have witnessed so far. She has been conditioned by the people around her, like her sister, to not fully devote herself to something that isn't quote-unquote important. That's why I take issue with the mal-description, because it isn't entirely accurate, saying that Kumiko has sworn off music after middle school because swearing off something is way too decisive for her character. In middle school, her band didn't advance to nationals, and as a way of guarding against disappointment, Kumiko does not become invested in the idea of success. She has an indifference toward the whole situation. When she turns to Reina and sees her sobbing, she says, "Did you really think we could make it to nationals?" They even animate her being surprised by the fact that she actually said that, like it came from some deep-seated place. A better description would be Kumiko has become apathetic toward the idea of being in band again, and is thinking it might obstruct her desire to start fresh in a new school, or whatever, I don't care. Not sure about joining band. But she'll go to the meeting, see what it's like. Okay, well, she eventually decides to join the band, but definitely won't play the same instrument this time. Really no investment in the euphonium, could play anything really. Okay, I guess she'll play the euphonium again. I mean, it's the instrument she knows best, but really no need to take this seriously. It's this evolution that makes her so relatable. Other characters take notice to this detachment. Partner euphonist Asuka calls her out on it, and it's one of the best scenes in the show.
境界線引いて踏み込むことは絶対にしなかった。気になって近づくくせに傷つくのも傷つけるのも怖いからなあなあにして安全な場所から見守る。そんな人間に相手が本音を見せてくれてると思う？
Drop the mic, Asuka! You so rarely see Kumiko express emotion, especially at the beginning. She lacks the ability to confront and understand her own feelings. My favorite scene is Kumiko riding the bus, lost in thought about her relationship with her sister. This is in season 2, where they've been at odds over the sister's decision to drop out of college. Kumiko tries her best to stay out of it and continue her indifference. You can see earlier while the parents and the sister are arguing over this decision, Kumiko is on the couch, blank expression, drowning out the noise with her phone. They put Kumiko in this scene for a reason. She adds nothing to the argument, she doesn't say or do anything. But how many times have you been in a room where your family starts fighting and you withdraw into your phone? This is a real-to-life moment. She's acting like it doesn't affect her, but when she comes to and the shot cuts to her, she's in the middle of crying. You can see the moment she even realizes it and becomes embarrassed because she's in public and people are getting uncomfortable. The thing is, she is unable to stop. The tears keep coming as she hides in her arms. Then Kumiko whispers the words, "I really am sad." What a poignant line. This show gets its characters, it gets them layers deep, and I really relate to this side of Kumiko. If they just switch 2 words, this line is nowhere near as powerful. "I am really sad" doesn't really say anything. It's her finally confronting how she actually feels, not how she thinks she feels. I really am sad. This scene almost got me, and that's pretty difficult because I'm like her, I don't express anything ever. It's like the audience is making the identical realization about themselves the exact same time Kumiko does. Like, how is it even possible? I would like to mention I'm skipping past many significant characters, and I would advise you to watch the Pedantic Romantics video on Sound Euphonium because it goes much deeper into the characters of the central plot than I am. I understand that this is quite a personally charged video, but that is what enjoying media is all about. There isn't anything objective about what I'm saying. That's not what I find most interesting about Sound Euphonium. For my money, it's KyoAni's best show, but I get that that's totally subjective. Yes, the animation is gorgeous, the colors are vibrant, the actual musical performances are highly engrossing, and the show does us the favor of not cutting to several inner monologues of the audience to distract from it. However, it's in the personal context where a show can truly shine. So when you think to yourself, how in the world can someone enjoy such and such show so much? It's a 7 or 8 out of 10 at best. It's possible they related to it on a personal level as much as I did with this show. You're a different person, so you have different tastes and values, and rather degrading someone for their own favorites, why not express yours? And you know where you can do that? In the comments of this video. If you enjoyed, consider subscribing and sharing the video because I don't have the first clue how to market myself. I feel I've taken the next step in video making and I've upped my quality in every aspect because, like Kumiko, I like the YouTube, the Euphonium. If you would like to see a video I made that is up to my new standard of quality, look no further than The Brilliance of Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze Part 1. A video I made where I talk at length about my other interest, video games. I did mention a podcast I do with my brother, and if you would like to check out that channel, the link is in the description as well. Thank you so much for watching. This is Second Look signing out.